Hello, World Tank Blitz. That's a Littlefinger. Yeah, we're doing a full tank review here on the Tiger 2. This is a Tier 8 German heavy tank. Very, very popular. A must-play and own tank line. And a lot of people play this tank, which is why we have this legendary camo for it. Hey guys, just notice that over 50% of you are watching my videos that aren't subscribed to channels. So why don't you do me a favor, hit that subscribe button now, and that way you guys can come back and see all of the great content that I'm continually putting out, and it doesn't cost you anything. Alright, with that out of the way, let's take a quick look here at the tech tree. VK3608, Tiger 1, we just recently did the review on that. Check it out. Tiger 2, E75, E100. There is not a bad tank in here, guys, and that's a rarity on the tech tree. Usually, if you have a really good tank, it's followed by a bad tank, followed by a good tank, etc. All of these tanks are great. Now, don't get me wrong, this tank has some flaws. Side cheeks are extremely weak. Sides are weak. Lower plate, not great. But the armor overall is good, and if you know how to use it, you will be a very strong player in this tank. So let's just jump real quick here into the consumables. Repair kit, multi-purpose adrenaline. Provisions, we're running chocolate, improved fuel, and chocolate bar. Ammunition 23, 10, and 9. You don't need a whole lot of APCR. You maybe could squeeze out a few more rounds there if you wanted to cut down, something like that might make you feel a little bit more comfortable. And make sure, obviously, we've got that with silver and not gold. And then to the all-important equipment, I'm running gun rammer just so that we get that extra DPM. I feel like the pen is pretty good on this tank. Defense system, improved optics. I'm running enhanced gun lane drive, enhanced armor. Again, we've got really good armor. Let's add that 4%. Engine accelerator, refined gun. If you find yourself shooting on the move more frequently, come back and change this over to your vertical stabilizer. I find that I'm more stationary. I have time to aim. Therefore, I want to use this refined gun. And then the toolbox, skipping that last one just to save a few credits. Worth going through blitzstars.com real quick with the Tiger 2 pulled up, and you can see we're right at 2,000 damage per minute before any equipment. That is right in line with all of these other tier 8 non-premium heavy tanks. Pen, again, is good, 225. It's towards the top. Alpha, you'll notice 310. We've got a couple tanks that are putting out over 400, so that puts us towards the bottom. Shell velocity, 1100. The German tanks just have really good, accurate guns, and we can see that when we move down here into the weapon handling. Look at all this reds, meaning that our tank performs better than all of these other ones. 2.0 aim time, 0.308 dispersion. Slight downside here with the 7 degrees of gun depression, but it is certainly workable. Now, getting into movement and mobility, I think this tank feels and drives better than an IS-3, but you'll notice the stats are very similar, and the IS-3 even has a better horsepower to ton ratio, which in theory should mean that it accelerates and gets up to top speed faster. I just don't feel it in the game. I'm not sure why. We don't have as much of a turret traverse as the IS-3 either, but again, I don't know. It just feels better. That's all I can say, guys. And then as we move on down here into the turret armor and the hull armor, you'll see we've got some really nice frontal armor when we compare it to some of the other tier tanks. Wanted to point out here, just look at this, 7,000 players with the 90-day criteria to get this in. 52% win rate puts it in the middle of the pack, so again, it is certainly not an OP tank. And when we jump over to Armor Inspector, you get a good idea why. So here is our Tiger 2 on flat ground getting looked at by an IS-3, and you can see very weak lower plate, 215 effective armor, you do have a small area around the front of the turret there, and of course the cupola. But if you are angled down or the tank is higher than you, look how much of the front of your tank turns green. Also note, if you turn your turret at all, those side cheeks are very easily penned. We can side scrape in this somewhat effectively, but again, very sharp angles, and always make sure that your turret is pointing the person that is about to shoot you. Alright guys, I know you guys skip around a lot, so I wanted to pull out this encounter here with another Tiger 2. Notice how he pulls out sideways, and I can basically pen anything from that drive wheel back on the side. He is coming out and I'm facing him. I'm wiggling side to side, and you can see he bounces the shot. As we come in here now, reloaded on our second shot, we're going to be facing his front. But look how weak those side cheeks are. This guy gets destroyed in a matter of seconds. So don't be overly confident in the armor on this tank. So yeah, this is Alpinestadt, and this is the battle in which that exchange happened. The one thing that is good about this tank that I do like I said, it moves really well. To me, it does not feel sluggish and slow like a typical heavy tank, which for me is more enjoyable playstyle. We already went over the armor, and the best thing about the tank is the gun itself. I've gone into B here primarily to try and spot up the other team. We've got the Chiri here. We've got someone just on my left spotted. No idea where that shot goes. But whatever. We'll get a second shot as he is just in a bad spot. And, careful about staying stationary. As you can see there, somebody else must have been an SU 640 damage that I blocked there. I was very fortunate. And here we go with the Tiger. We'll see this in real speed and just see how fast he gets deleted. Because he's got tanks all over him, and the armor is just not going to hold up. It's not a Russian Soviet tank where you're just going to get strange bounces that you don't expect. It's very clear cut what's pennable, what's not on this tank. So one guy gone, and we've gone through town. Obviously the rest of the team here is on the A side, and now I can be a little bit more patient and wait for others to make mistakes. Let's see what this ISU is doing. Alright, we've got him backing up, and he's going to come back into play here in a second as I make a poor decision. Defender, not doing a great job with his armor because I can basically see the top of the tank. Knowing that ISU's down here, I peek twice, and look at that shot. And I wanted to show you where that went. Look at that. Straight through the cupola there. Over 700 damage. So like I said in the armor inspector, you do have weak spots all the way around the front of the turret. They are small. The cupola and the lower hatch. Any tank like an ISU is going to go through that very easily. But this was kind of a lopsided game here. We've got enough hit points now. With only one tank left, we can just roll on in and finish the game off. But I just thought that was a very good example on that other team's Tiger at what you don't want to do in this tank, right? Don't expect to bounce every shot. If you know how to angle your tank right, we'll show you how to bounce shots a little bit better here coming up. 2394 damage. You're still top there, 2 kills. Alright, so let's just slide on over to this game here on Normandy. Really good game here, but I want you to focus on how I watch the enemy team. I notice when they shoot. I know when it's safe for me to take my shot and then back around hard cover. That works obviously with any tank, certainly works well with the Tiger 2 here. So we've got the IS-5, definitely looks like he's coming right. I like going right here, again with a tank, especially like the IS-5 who doesn't have any gun depression. I've got 7 degrees. You don't really want to play on the ridge lines to the left side of this map. And I just look back and we do have a Super Pershing coming with us as well. But we're going to jump up into the bush here. We do have some hard cover to our left, just seeing if we can get some spots in. First early shot misses, hits the dirt, just a little bit low. But again, the gun on this is very accurate, and we'll show you that in the next game. But now, the IS-5 obviously has spotted up the WZ-111. And I noticed that he had shot, and so I was able to pull forward and take my shot. Now I'm keeping an eye on that WZ-111 primarily because he's aimed in. IS-6 decides he's going to make a run for it. Bad decision. Did not see the WZ-111 shoot, so there we go. There's the shot. I now know I have about 12 seconds to get in there, let my aim in, and pull back to safety, and I don't have to worry about anything at all. And if you can keep trading shots like that, you will basically, you will have good games. There's no two ways about it, because you're not worried about trading shots. Now he's gone up on a ridge. All he can see is my turret, so I want to keep that pointed directly at him. And he's still showing me too much of that lower plate, so we get another shot in as well. It's a shame the Super Pershing did not get the kill there, but we've got the M4 Rev to the right. I was hoping the Super Pershing here would hold him behind the rock while I push forward on the WZ here, but I get hit pretty hard there from the Rev, who then finally gets taken out. So again, relatively straightforward game. We're at 1800 damage. I did not have a shot there, so don't bother taking it if you don't want to risk the shot. I can pull forward and take my shot, which was a much better shot. It just went a little bit higher than I was hoping. We are still aiming for that lower plate, and at this point, since we've saved all of our hit points, we can trade because we're in a 5-on-3 situation. And look at that lovely little bounce there from the RHM. If we're just hold down here, just showing our turret, keeping it pointed at those targets, and moving side to side, never sitting still. Not sure why I decided just to switch over and do a full HE roll, but a 550 there certainly helps with our damage. And now we can come on in. Can we finish the IS-6? Yep, there's the finish on the IS-6. And again, the RHM's going to shoot and miss. Poor guy. We finish him off, and we did about 3,700 damage there. So again, great positioning, great use of watching the other teams and doing the little peek-a-boom, and then a few lucky bounces towards the end with our nice armor. So for the final battle here, we're going to be on Rockfield. Another supremacy game, and it's going to be interesting because our two teams are going to be on opposite sides of the map. We are going to go ahead and take C, and the enemy is going to be a little bit high ground, taking A. Again, love the way the tank drives. You've got to make sure you're angling it properly, and you'll see that a little bit more in this video as I stay next to a T-32 without very good stats. You can see how not to angle a tank versus how to angle a tank. feeling a bit frisky here, so we're going to pop into this bush, see if we get any spots. And this is a good indication now at this point that none of their heavies are headed this way, and that they are going to be shortly capping A. So we'll turn our armor that direction just in case we get spotted. And there goes A. We can pretty much assume that they're probably hiding somewhere behind that wall. And so we'll throw in an HE shot. It does temporarily slow down the cap, but it only did a very small splash damage. And J Panther, nice for you to be sitting on top of the hill. And this is the T-32 I'm talking about. He does a little bit of rubbing on me a good bit this game, although not necessarily appreciated. Trying to get a little separation here and get behind him. He is completely clueless about this AMX until I take my shot. He's deleted there before we can reload. So we've got the early bird special AMX. Now we are keeping our armor facing this direction just in case. You don't want to pull out like that Tiger to there. And again, we've got to be concerned about the side turret, because obviously that is a very weak spot. So trying to use those rocks that are to front and left of me to hide from anybody in the opening to the hill, while these three guys push around on this side. I'm getting rubbed here as I'm shooting. You know, certainly not fun. Yep, we just got rammed again. And that is how not to be angling your tank. Put your butt to the wall like me, dude. Don't sit still in a T-28 Defender, guys. That hatch is pinnable. You need to rock back and forth. There's a reason that I do that. So let's go have a peek over here, see if anyone's over. J Panther's in a little better position this time. And we miss our shot, and look at that. We take a shot from the IS-3 to the right. We each have one cat. It's a very slow developing game. You don't see games like this too often, do you? But now that I have help on this side, we're going to focus this side. And eventually when we get, you know, these guys down just a little bit more, we will push. That poor T-32 just did not know how to hide his tank properly. Challenger going in, so I'm going to go in and support. We'll push on in here. He gets the kill on the Centurion, and I'll take the kill on the T-28 Defender. Now remember, flat ground, the IS-3 can pen our lower plate without problems. So we want to try to close the gap, make it difficult for him to see our lower plate, and we wiggle and jiggle when we think he's about to shoot. Reload and finish him off, and 4 on 2 at this point. Of course, this is when my iPad decides it doesn't want to listen to my left thumb anymore. And we'll have a few stops and starts here at the end, which is quite frustrating. But this is just cleanup duty at this point, 4 on 1. So, the great time just to talk about, you know, the mobility is great, the armor is good, the gun is great, it's just super accurate. You know, you don't have anything like those Russian troll shots where you have no idea where they're going. I mean, pinpoint on the point you want. It's just a shame, you know, I think this tank would be OP if the side cheeks were a little bit stronger. 3,000 damage, 21,000 credits made there. But again, like I said, this is just a perfect tank line. It's a must own. You keep each one of these tanks as you go your way up because they are very special tanks and a lot of fun to drive. So for the 53 odd percent of you that have watched this video that aren't subscribed to my channel, please, I'm begging you right now, just mash that little red button. Real easy. And for the rest of you guys, thank you for being loyal subscribers. It's really appreciated. Don't forget to leave us some videos in Discord. And of course, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.